Okay, it's just loading now. I hit publish, so.
Then you're good.
Okay.
Can you turn the host mic on for me?
Yo, what's up? No, that's what's up. What's up? How many of you are college football fans? How many of you love watching Notre Dame beat Clemson yesterday? How many of you like watching Florida beat Georgia? How many of you are like, that's not cool? Alright, 10 out, 3, 2, 1, gotta get up on your feet. We got some celebrating to do, so get on up here. Let's go!
Should I worry about tomorrow?
the only Coy! And you can't see this from where you are, but I can because I'm close. Coy, he was going at it so hard, there's sweat. That's from your boy. It's kind of gross. We're playing games, so here's called higher or lower. We're gonna see what you think. Let's do the first one. So, there's a correct answer, which is higher or lower than the given answer. If you think it's lower, you're gonna go on this side because that's where the lower side is, right? And if you think it's higher than that, you're gonna go to this side because, well, that's the higher side. And we're gonna see what happens. Now, here's my only thing. You need to keep track of your own score. So honor system, don't be like, I'm on this side, and although I only got one right, I'm gonna say I got 10, like, don't do that. Sound good? Up on your feet, up on your feet, up on your feet, come on, come on, come on. We'll get a little bit tired here, so everyone touch this guy. Reach this guy, come on, get him up there. Touch toes. I will come get you to stand up. I'm really good at that. I have a two-year-old. I'm all about getting people to move where they don't want to move. Anyway, all right. So, here we go. First one. The world's longest mustache is 12 feet long. Do you think it's higher than that or lower than that? Move. Lower, higher. Either way, that's dirty. So Logan just showed me his dirty stash. I couldn't tell if it was hair or dirt. You know, hold up. There's no middle ground. Pick it. Lower or higher. What you got? Lower or higher? Come on. Move for me. Move for me. The answer is... It is higher. 18.5 feet. That's disgusting. You have 0. You all have 1. All right, Jamie, come here real quick. Jamie, come here real quick. I want you to say what you just said because I feel like we need to understand the gravity of a 18.5 foot mustache. Say it for me.
Imagine walking up to somebody and saying that you have an 18.5 foot mustache.
Cause if you see it, it's like, is that 18 feet or is that 12? I can't really tell. It'd be like, what's up? For almost bald people, it could be like a comb over. That's a good question. That's a good question. Turn to your neighbor, socially distant of course, and tell them where you would keep an 18.5 foot mustache as you walk around. Like if you had a mascot, would it be like, does your mustache head blow? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you tie it up? Can you tie it up? Where would I put it? 100% in my back pocket. I would start from my face, I would toss it over my shoulder, and I would tuck it in the pocket to be like, yo, what's up? Next one, here we go. The most expensive wedding cost, $55 million. Holy moly. Higher or lower? Bro. I'm just saying, if you don't know, guess over, because weddings are expensive. Weddings cost bank. Alright. We got some people over here saying not so much. We got some people over here saying, are you guys in the middle or what are you picking? You picking that side? Okay, let's see what the answer is. What is it? $66 million! 66! So if you're on this side, give yourself another point. If you're on this side, you are delusional. Okay, here we go. Number 3. The longest solo dance marathon lasted 152 hours. That's like, imagine doing the Running Man for 152 hours. Hey, that's like lots of days. Okay, move. Higher or lower? What do you think? 152. Higher or lower? What you got? This is middle land. This is called I don't know, and it doesn't exist. What you got? The answer is lower. It was only 123 hours. Can someone real quick do the math for me? How many days is that? How many days is 123 hours?
5 days.
That's correct.
5 days.
5 and some days. 5.13 days. Could you imagine spending over 5 days dancing? What that tells me is you don't have a life. Okay, cool. Moving on to the next one.
I'm like, you really think that service is more important than ours.
All right. The largest rubber band ball weighs 7,345 pounds. For reference, I weigh about 190. Higher, lower. What you got? What you got? What you got? Okay, let's see the answer. It's higher. 9,033 pounds. Yeah, that's like. Yeah, that's like more than 10 of me. That's nutso. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. One more. Let's see what we got. The most tricks done by a dog in 1 minute was 36. That's like a trick every second. Like, roll over, bag, play dead, jump. I don't know. 32 tricks. Oh, what you got? Let's see. Higher or lower? Come on, someone give me an answer. What you got? The answer is 49 tricks. You what? I can't hear you. Come here. Come here. Closer. What you got? You're 5 for 5. Who else is 5 for 5? If you are 5 for 5, come here. Everybody else sit down because, well, we know you didn't win. 5 for 5. Up on the stage right here. Tell us your name and what grade you're in. Shake out, and he's in 8th grade. Love it.
CJ, an 8.
CJ, and he's in 8th as well.
I'm Brandon, I'm in 6th grade.
So we got some 8th grade in the house. Where are my 8th graders at? Wow! No love for 8th grade. Let's try it again. Where are my 8th graders at? Where are my 6th graders at? Where are my boys at? Okay, where are my girls at? Okay, here we go. Next one. We're gonna whittle things down here maybe. The cost of the most expensive watch ever sold is $20.2 million. Is it higher or lower? What do you think? Okay, Bryn, what do you think? Higher or lower? Low. Bryn. Stand strong. Don't just follow the boys. You pick, what do you think? Ask the girls. Okay, the answer is it's lower. 70%. But you all lost, so you're all still in. Okay, here we go. Let's see another one. The highest jump by a llama is 3 feet or 2 feet 3 inches. Higher or lower? What you got? Trust your gut. Do you go higher? You're not changing. No change. All right, the answer is it's 3 feet 8 inches. Okay, we're gonna pick one more, but this time you can't pick the same answer as somebody else. Or you can't all pick the same answer, put it that way. Next one. Most expensive grilled cheese sandwich sold regularly costs $135. These guys are just going higher is better. But let's see. The answer is 214. Okay, Bryn. You are always in the finals. I love that. All right, you two cannot pick the same answer this time. Come to the middle. All right, last one. This is the deciding vote. The most people riding on a surfboard at one time, 75, higher or lower. You both can't pick that. All right. Let me get a slow clap. Build it up. Come on. The answer is 66. We got the winner, CJ. How you doing? How does it feel to be the champion of today's game?
Feels amazing.
Have you been working your whole life for this moment?
Yeah, I've been training for 20 plus hours each day.
He scours YouTube looking for the answers to this. It's amazing. We'll go ahead and have a seat. And I'm going to invite a friend right up here. Now, before I invite him up there, there's something I need to tell you about Kevin. So, my friend, who's going to be joining us in just a second, he, how do I say this nicely? He likes Alabama football. Now here's the thing. It's not bad. However, his obsession with Alabama football is so strong that when they lose, he cries. When they win, he cries. When they tie, he cries. He dreams of Alabama. He had once told me he was going to name his firstborn child, male or female. It does not matter, Bama. Could you imagine being in first grade, walking in, and the teacher says, "Where is Bama?"
That's wrong.
I think it could be a thing. So Logan, without further ado, the future father to Bama, here we go.
Yeah, Bama. Who likes that name? Raise your hand. Anybody? Or like Nick? Would you name it like Nick? Okay, well, hey, believe it or not, well, my name's Logan, we haven't met yet. I'm glad you decided to come spend this morning with us. But hey, like Justin was saying, yeah, man, I'm a huge Bama fan. But that's not the only thing that's different about me, I would say. Listen to this. I was talking to Justin and Erica on Tuesday, right? I would say, right. I was talking to them, and literally, I told them this thing that I used to do, and they're like, "Bro, you're weird." And I'm like, "Wait, y'all didn't do this?" They're like, Erica's back there like, "Yeah." Like, literally, okay, so listen to this. When I would say I was like 8th grade, 7th grade, maybe. I literally, when it would get cold outside, right? Kind of like it is now. It would start to get kind of chilly outside. So that means the heat would come on in our house, right? So we'd turn the heat on, and the heat would turn on, and I'd be like, "Man, I am freezing." It'd be like a Saturday morning. I'd be like, "You know what? I'm gonna take a blanket, I'm gonna go pop down right on the air vent."
That's normal.
And I'm gonna sit on the air vent with my blanket, and I'm gonna get warm. I'm gonna take all the heat. Is that normal? Raise your hand if you've done that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got some people with me. Okay. Well, hey, I thought that was weird, but hey, I mean, you're getting warm, right? It's like chill, you get your phone, scroll, sit there, get warm. Just like a cat. Erica does not agree. Oh gosh. I can't even. But guys, this is personal to me. This matters to me. I enjoy doing this. This was it felt like it was part of me. I'm like, this is what I do. This is just fun, and that's what it looks like sometimes. When things matter to us in our lives, they're personal. And that's what I want to hit on today, is the fact that when things matter to us in our lives, they're personal. And so whether that matters to you, whether if you love sitting with a blanket on a vent, or whether it's something else, stuff that matters to you, that's personal to us. And so I was saying, I was talking to Justin and Erica, and they were like, "Bro, that's not normal." We do not do that. But because sometimes things that are personal to us, it can be easy to think that they're personal to everyone. But sometimes that's not always the case. And so we want to start this conversation around what that looks like, around what maybe your life looks like, what matters to you. And so we want you to turn on with your group, find your leader, and we're going to give y'all a few minutes. We've got a few questions. The first one is this. This one's crazy. Look, it's what's something that you like to do that other people may not expect? Maybe it's sitting on an event. Maybe it's watching Alabama win. I don't know. The second one is this: on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it? How important is it to hang out with people who have the same interest as you? All right, we're gonna give you a few minutes. Go.
Hey, how long on this one?
Give it 5. Good question. Thank you.
Justin, did you see the Georgia wide receiver's leg?
No.
He like scored, and when he was tackled in the end zone, it's like backwards. The entire leg.
I didn't see that. So from the knee down or from the hip down?
Well, it's either the ankle or like the whole calf. You should,
It's the ankle.
I tell you to Google it, but then I also wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't want to see. I've seen enough of those that go.
You know the Kevin Ware injury on the Louisville basketball? Oh, but I was like there.
You were there when it happened?
Yeah, I was in downtown Louisville, watching it in a restaurant.
Dude, those times I was in college. A buddy of mine, one of my teammates, he did a step over. There was nobody near him for 40 yards. He snapped his tibia and fibula in half. And it did the same thing. It literally wrenched all the way around and it did. It was the grossest thing I've ever heard.
Peyton Doyle, a kid on my football team in 7th grade, got tackled at practice and his wrist was like all the way around.
Not good. Not good. Bailey, did you start the clock?
Yeah, it's got 147.
The best part
It's not showing up there.
Yeah, okay.
We can figure it out. No big deal. We changed systems over, so you may need to do a few edits
Okay.
so that you can show what you got.
Alright.
Logan, 1 minute.
Yeah, but Peyton, the kid, he said it didn't hurt, but when he looked at it, he passed out. Like he must have been in shock.
I don't know. Pull the questions off. Go to the next one. He's needed about 15 more seconds.
See, no matter what it looks like for you, right? You know, no matter what your life looks like, but like what matters to you, I think it's safe to say, you know, we all have something in our life that matters to us. You know, maybe for you, it's like video games. Maybe you're like, man, video games matter to me, man. I love me some Fortnite. Man, I love me. Anyone play Fortnite still? No? Hey, I'm gonna lie. I'll hop on some Fortnite every once in a while. Or maybe for you, it's sports, right? Maybe you love sports, you love NBA, maybe you love college football, maybe like football and like sports. Y'all hear that? Yeah, like March Madness, like that really matters to you. Or maybe it's like school. Anybody like school? Okay, we got a few. Maybe you like school, you know? Like there's nothing wrong with that, you know, that matters to you. Or maybe you like really like your dog, Erica. You know, right? Maybe you like your dog, like Erica, like Dustin, right? Or maybe you really like Jordan Woods. Justin. I almost said Jordan.
I'll take it.
Justin.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Or maybe you really like coffee. Just.
Also, I'm game with that.
Or maybe you really like games like Spikeball or something like that. I I said Corey, that wasn't like a... Corey really likes football, you know, that matters to him. You know, I don't know what it looks like for you. I don't know what really matters to you or your life, but things that like matter to us, they're personal. Like they mean a lot to us, and they're personal to us. Like we really care about them. And sometimes we can even think that like, just because we like something, like I was saying earlier, that we think that someone else likes something because we like it. And man, let me tell you something. So I started dating this girl named Emily, and I was like, "Aww, thanks, Corey." But we've been dating for 3 years now, right? Our first date, I'm like, man, I got this figured out. I'm gonna take her to the movies.
Oh, wow.
Right? Okay. Wow. And I text her, right? And I'm like, actually, I think it was on Snapchat. I Snapchat her. And I'm like, hey, why don't we go to see a movie sometime? For sure, right? And she said yes, but come to find out, she does not like movies. And I'm like, she's just not a fan of movies. And I'm like, man, I thought just because I like movies, that she was gonna like movies. And man, I feel like we do that all the time. We're like, man, just because I like this, just because this matters to me, just because this kind of movie matters to me, it has to mean that it matters to this other person. But that's not always the case. I learned the hard way. That's not always the case, because when we make assumptions about people, we can end up only hanging out with people that are like us. And that's not like what we're here to do. Yeah, what do you got?
Is she real?
Wow. Yes, she is.
She's invisible.
No pictures. But let's just keep this conversation going around what it looks like about things in your life that matter to you, and maybe what the people around you, what it looks like to them as well. Maybe if like people around you like the same things that you do or not. So we got a few questions. Let's see. The first one says this: has it ever been hard to get to know someone who has different interests than you? Why or why not? The second one is this: was one thing you could miss out on by not having people around you with different interests? Those are good. All right, we're gonna give you all a few minutes. Go.
Okay, so when I put show message on there, but it doesn't go up.
That's just it.
Oh, okay,
There's
okay.
some things back end that I need to change, so don't worry about it. We're gonna go 7 minutes.
Okay, 7.
Logan, 7 minutes. Logan, not back here.
What? No, I got it.
1. You just showed everyone your chest. Okay. 2. You're giving me some time to yourself.
Yeah, I see.
That's all I'm gonna do. If you come, if you want to come to the booth, come this way, so you don't walk in front of the camera. Make this?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's alright. It's alright. There's one person on it.
Here's the thing though. In a day, there'll be 10. By next week, there'll be.
Oh, it's
People watch it.
okay.
It stays up. So it's just a weird shot of like.
Logan.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
now they all get a pretty view.
Exactly.
We'll have a laugh right in the middle of it.
I'll get a good laugh out of it.
Like 2 weeks ago when the question started, I wasn't looking and I just like hit it and it was zoomed in on Aiden's face for like 30 seconds.
I saw that.
It was nice.
There was one too. I think it was the same week. He like stood up and it was like all you saw was his back, and I'm like, you gotta adjust that. Whoops.
Does the main service have like a whole team that just switches cameras on that thing? Because it looks so good when they do it.
So they have a team. They'll have they have 7 cameras running at the same time, and they have one person in the back that's what's called a switcher, and that person will literally switch from camera to camera.
Yeah, it's
So you know what camera is on based upon the light that's attached to it.
Right.
it's literally we have this at our school too. I'm in the AV Tech class at school. It's like it's kind of like this, but it's a board, and you have all the different cameras like on a panel, and you have buttons that you can just switch between them.
And then usually you'll have a screen that has all the different shots going. You can bounce, and then a headset, and that person's telling people, "Hey, look for this, look for that."
That's got to be expensive.
It's
Sounds like it.
a new setup is very expensive.
Oh my god. I've seen the meme, some guy went up to some gun show, and it was like these white guys, and it's like, and you know what gun I should get? And the guy was like, well, it matters if you like a shotgun, bolt rifle, AR. He's like, I want a gun that'll make my girlfriend, or that'll make a girl go out. And he's like, Desert Eagle. Which is, it's that gun. It's like the massive thing.
Yeah, that part.
You see that,
Hey, are you two coming today?
I'm gonna try to make
I
it.
hope so.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it.
Preston, what will get in the way? Homework?
Yeah, I have homework and then some stuff with my family, but I told him I have youth, so we'll see.
It's my psych teacher.
You have psych? Oh, I hated psych.
AP psych too.
Is it AP Psych?
I have 2 AP classes, 2 honors classes.
Oh, nice.
Sucks. No, not nice.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
3 minutes left.
Magnet, the way they do their work, their school, they call it like reverse learning. So they teach in class, but you don't really do work in school. You only learn,
Okay.
and all the work's at home. So I have like 3 hours of homework every day of each for like.
And are you guys split schedule still?
Well, okay, we're changing next week. We were Tuesday, Thursday, and then the other half was Monday, Wednesday, and then everyone's virtual on the other days. But now starting tomorrow, we're going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, everyone in person,
Okay.
and then Thursday, Friday, no one in school.
That's gonna be hard.
I just don't get the logic behind it, because it's like, you're going to expose everyone to everyone, but then you can't go to school because of the coronavirus. I'm missing something.
I know North Holden, they were gonna go back to that on Monday. They're not anymore.
And they push it
They
back.
pushed it back to post Thanksgiving.
And I think one of their main reasonings is us and Hiram are doing that now for Paulding County schools. And North, obviously, not just with media, but it's also like they're getting they're hit a lot worse with it.
Yeah.
So I guess they're gonna see how ours works before they go
Makes sense. Do you think you guys will go back to
next semester.
what would be what's your preference?
In person.
In person?
You just even if you can't ask questions to your teachers, like you send an email and then 20-30 minutes later you get a response, which is good response time, but I don't have 20 minutes to sit there.
Right. That makes sense. It's almost like we need to have a virtual chat now.
Right. And now, but what sucks is on Thursdays and Fridays they're doing these mandatory Zoom calls for every class,
Yeah.
which I guess is the same at school. It's just weird to have to sit there on a camera for 6 hours.
Yeah. It's weird.
What's up? Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. What's up? How was y'all's conversations? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up? Okay. Okay. Well, hey, I don't know how long you've been coming to see Christ. I don't know how long you've been coming to a church. I don't know if this is your first time or your 100th time, but there's this thing. It's this book. You know what it's called? I heard it. What do we got? The Bible. We got this book. It's called the Bible. If you don't know about it, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's broken up into two parts. It's broken up into an Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament is everything that happened before Jesus was born. Jesus, who we call, came down as God. God came down as a man. Everything that happened before Jesus walked the earth in the Old Testament, everything in the New Testament, everything that happened the day Jesus was born and beyond. So that's a little breakdown of the Old Testament and the New Testament. But you see, in the New Testament, there's this book. This book is called Luke. And in this book, this guy wrote it. You know what his name was? Luke. Shoot, it was Luke. He named it Luke because his name was Luke. It was pretty cool. But you see, Luke was this guy. He was this guy that wanted to follow Jesus. He saw Jesus live his life, and he's like, man, I want to live like that. And so that's what Luke was doing. And so that's why he wrote this book called Luke. We see in this book called Luke, we see the story of this one dude. His name's Zacchaeus. We talked about him a little bit last week. I like to call him Zach for short, because it's like easier to like say Zach rather than Zacchaeus. You know, Zacchaeus. Anyone ever heard of Zacchaeus? I know we talked a little bit about him last week. And he was this wee little man. A wee little man was he, right? That song. Exactly. We see that Zacchaeus was this tax collector. Which back in his day, these guys, like, no one liked him. He literally, his job was to collect money from the people around him in his like neighborhood. Like he literally would take their money. He would collect the taxes of the people around him, the people in his town. And so everyone was like, man, that guy Zacchaeus, oh, here he comes again, coming to take my money. And so Zacchaeus would take their money. But what he would do is he would take a little bit more and keep it for himself. So he'd take a little bit more, he'd give it to where it's supposed to go, and then he'd keep a little bit for himself. So Zacchaeus, he like stole. Zacchaeus was a thief. He was even a liar. And so, man, like I was saying, no one really liked Zacchaeus. Everyone was just kind of like, oh yeah, that's just that guy that steals our money and he's real short. No one really liked Zacchaeus. And so Zacchaeus is just in this place, and we can pick up right here because he sees that this guy named Jesus is coming to his town, and he's like, man, I want to meet this guy. And this is where we pick up in the story. And so it starts here. It says, Jesus entered Jericho, which is his town, which was Zacchaeus' town. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. Everyone go, what up, Zacchaeus? What up, Zacchaeus? He was a tax collector. He was a cheap tax collector. Like I was saying earlier, no one liked him because of it. He stole people's money. And he was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was. But because he was so short, he was small, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran immediately. Where am I? He ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him. For Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached that spot, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today. So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. I like just looking at that last part where he says, so he came down and welcomed him gladly. I think about Zacchaeus, about Zach, and I'm like, man, how many times is he like welcoming people gladly? Like not many, right? Because like people don't really care for him. And so he's not all the time going, oh yeah, like what's up, bro? Like you're glad to see me. No, like But here we see that Jesus, like we talked about last week, Jesus knew his name. Jesus said, Zacchaeus. He knew his name, and he called him and said, come down. And Zacchaeus is like, man, this guy, he actually sees me. Like, he actually wants to hang out with me. And so Zacchaeus woke up with gladness. Zacchaeus is like all pumped up and happy because he's like, man, this guy actually wants to see me. And what I want you to know today is this, is that Jesus does the same for us. Is that Jesus looks at you and he doesn't look at what other people think of you. He doesn't look at what other people say about you. He looks at you for who you are. And that's his child. That's his beloved son, his beloved daughter. You were made in his image, and that's the way that he looks at you today. Whether you know it or not, I believe that so much in my heart that that's how Jesus sees you today. And he doesn't define you by anything. And so we see, that Zacchaeus, people called him a liar. People called him a thief. People called him just this guy that was just mean and rude. But Jesus didn't call him any of that. Jesus didn't define him by that. Jesus simply said, you know what, Zacchaeus, I want to hang out with you. I want to come and stay at your house, and I want to hang out with you. Why? Because what matters to Zacchaeus matters to God. And what matters to you matters to God. I want everyone to say that real quick. What matters to me matters to God. Oh, thanks, God. No, but seriously. I want you to really understand this. What matters to you matters to God. And so maybe you're sitting here and you're like, man, what matters to me? Man, I really like video games or sports or whatever. And so maybe you're sitting here like, man, video games and sports, that matters to me. Guess what? It matters to God. Or maybe you're sitting here and you're like, man, I really like school, and I really like my dog, and I really like just hanging out with my family and stuff. Well, guess what? That matters to God. You see, what matters to us matters to God. And I think that there are two ways that we can live this out this week. That we can make this personal in our lives this week. One for ourselves and one for others. And the first one is this. We can make it personal for ourselves by talking to Jesus about what matters to us. You see, for me, man, like Justin was saying, man, I'm a huge Alabama fan. And so sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'm like, does God really care if Alabama wins? Or does God even really care even about Alabama football? And the answer to that is God cares about what I care about. And so, if I love Alabama football, God's going to be all in. But that doesn't mean just Alabama, because Georgia fans are like, what? You're saying God in Alabama, man? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Perfect, so how can you be a fan
That was, this good. But listen to this. Maybe I shouldn't use that reference, but listen to this. What I want you to know is that God cares about what you care about. God really cares about what you care about. Whatever that looks like in your life, I don't know what that looks like for you. And so, spend time talking to him about that this week. You know what I've actually noticed, so much, is the fact that, God wants to hang out with you. Like I was saying, Zacchaeus. And so, man, if you, for me personally, I found it hard to, sometimes just open my Bible and, spend time with God. And so what I've been trying to do is just invite God in. Invite him to hang out with me. Man, I'll go outside and I'll start shooting hoops. I'll be like, God, come shoot hoops with me. But, that's what God wants. He wants to hang out with you. Why? Because he likes, or he loves you. And he wants to have a relationship with you today. And so the second thing we can do is this. We can make it personal for others by looking past our assumptions and getting to know people better. Because man, like I was saying earlier, just because we like something, just because something matters to us doesn't mean it matters to the person next to us. And so I want to hit on this point one more time today. Because I don't want you to miss it because it's so good. It says this. It's personal because Jesus knows what matters to you. It's personal to you today because Jesus knows what matters to you. He knows what matters. And He wants to hang out with you. He desires to have a relationship with you today. And whether you know that or not, that's my prayer, is that you would know that God desires to hang out with you. Just like Zacchaeus. Just like we looked at earlier, he knows your name like we talked about last week. He wants to have a relationship with you. And so we want to just keep this conversation going around what that looks like in your life, what matters to you. Why? Because it matters to God. And so we're going to turn to our groups here. We got a few more questions for you guys. The first one is this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe that Jesus cares about what you care about? The second one is this. Why is it important to care about what others care about? The third one is, what's one way you can find out what matters to someone else? We're going to give you all a few minutes. Go.
15. Preston, what I need for you is to kind of watch that YouTube, and
When he starts to wrap things up.
it's gonna be kind of tricky because there's not a closing song today. We'll go 15, and then I'll pop up there and do a close if he's still talking. But I would imagine he will. Can you pop on the backlights? Thank you. Wow! That hurts. Can you end that or hand me that? Okay. Unplug it real quick. I'll pass it over here. Thank you. Yeah.